I can smell his breath through my phone. My phone was ringing, and it was a number I had never seen before. I didn't know who it was, and I always get a little tense when someone calls me that I do not know of in my social circles. As soon as I answered the call, a rancid breath could be smelled coming through my mobile phone. It was disgusting, and the guy on the other end started speaking, which just increased the rancid breath coming through my phone. Can you smell my breath going through your phone? Do you want to know why my breath smells extra rancid today? The guy at the other end told me. I didn't think it was possible to smell another person's breath through the phone, but here I was smelling this guy's breath through my phone. I was curious how his breath smelled so bad, and he started laughing. I wanted him to stop laughing because I could smell it through my phone. He kept playing with me and kept on asking me whether I truly wanted to know why his breath smelled so bad. I kept replying to him that I did, and then at one point I puked because his breath was so bad. Because his breath was coming through my phone, it really started to make my phone smell bad. I don't know why I was so curious to know how his breath got this bad. I guess deep down I felt like his breath smelling bad had something to do with me. I kept asking myself how I was smelling his breath through my mobile phone and when he is so far away. Anyway, this guy was so irritating, and he kept saying whether I would truly like to know how his breath came to be. I don't know how many times I had to say yes to this guy, and I didn't know how much longer I could keep smelling his breath coming through my phone. Then he told me, well, when I started eating your parents, it was a delicious meal, and then I just didn't wash it down with anything and stopped brushing my teeth. His breath got so bad that you could smell it through a phone if he ever calls you. I drop the phone and I go into my parents' room and I find them both eaten and dead. Very dead. Time goes by and I call the guy again and I can still smell his breath. It's not as bad, but still. I tell him to go stand over a bridge, and he does. I then douse my phone with liquid that could put you to sleep. The other guy at the end of the phone could smell it, and he collapses and falls into the waters. I could hear the splashes. That is my revenge. The thing in the corner, typical day, nothing going on. I get my night snack and tea and fall asleep. I woke up. I recall myself saying, "What's the time?" Checked my Chromebook. So I guess it was one of my cats or dog making noise, and I fall back asleep. Again, wake up. Decide to get a cup of water from the kitchen. I made a cup, drank it, and I recall seeing something across the living room quickly fades. I stood there saying to myself, it's my imagination, since I didn't hear the noise when someone goes up the stairs. I go up the stairs, nothing. Thank God. Went back to bed, but before I fell asleep, I definitely saw something in the corner of the room staring at me. Smile ear to ear. I was scared of the dark, so I just decided to go under the covers and end up falling asleep. Wake up the next morning and see 2 footprints, barely visible but still there. I haven't told anyone about this till now. Note, I don't have schizophrenia as far as me and my family are aware. Phantom in the freezer. I am currently alone working a night shift at a hospital morgue. I work as a cleaner, which means I've seen, smelled, and heard horrific things. I started a year ago, but strange things have only started recently. I want to document what happened tonight. Firstly, the porters brought a recently deceased man down to be processed into the freezers. I did the paperwork and put him into the freezer until the examination tomorrow. The freezers are empty, apart from this man, as the funeral home collected the rest earlier. This is important. I sat down in my office, which overlooks the freezer drawers and examination table. I started playing chess until I looked up and saw the door to the freezer open. I went in and shut the door, feeling creeped out but thinking maybe I didn't shut it properly. I sat down again and continued my game of chess. I won the game around 5 minutes later, so I looked up and the freezer door was open again. I knew I had locked the door, so at this point I was very creeped out. I looked around the empty hallway to check if anyone was there, and as I thought it was just me and a dead body, or so I thought. I locked the door again and went back to the office. I was so uncomfortable being near the room and felt like I was being stared at from the corners of the room. Suddenly, a door crashed into the wall behind me like a rhino had just barreled into it. I could barely breathe from fear and grabbed the radio to call security. I turned back to the room overlooking the examination table, and there was a woman's body on the table. I dropped the radio and screamed while staring at a body that shouldn't have been there. Like I said earlier, there should be only one body here, the man's. After catching my breath, I radioed security, and they thought I was joking. About 5 minutes later, one security guard showed up, confused as he looked at this body. The toe tag said died 1994 at St. Michael's Hospital, but the year is 2016 at Dr. Smith Surgical Center. How is there a body from 22 years ago lying on the table? We called the police, but when we had our backs turned, the body disappeared from the table as quickly as it arrived. We both went into the room, but it was empty. I had this feeling of dread come over me as I checked the freezers. Bay 1 empty, Bay 2 empty, Bay 3 empty, Bay 4 had clothes in, the man's clothes, but he was gone. I went to tell the security guard, but he wasn't there. I looked everywhere until I tried to radio him. The radio never had any batteries in. Who was the man who showed up? Where did he go? How did he make a dead radio work? All these questions, but no answers that will ever come. After tonight, I'm never coming back, but whatever happened here tonight, it's attached itself to me. I feel heavier, like I'm carrying someone on my back. I'm having thoughts that aren't mine.